Welcome into the Hustle Show podcast brought to you by Viva Tequila Seltzer, VivaTequilaSeltzer.com, powered by WagerTalk.com. I am Drew Martin, joined by Kelly Stewart, CT Betts, Adam Trigger, and Joe Ranieri. We got big game breakdown. We got a wedding reception, when you can have it in fall discussion in the middle, best bets at the end, going around the horn. And we're ruling with an iron fist today at CT Betts 16, Chris Thurston. He's always ruling with an iron fist. Welcome in, CT. How you feeling, buddy?
Drew Martin Betts, I'm doing pretty well. I had a great Saturday, and Sunday was an absolute abortion for me. But it's a new week, and I'm ready to rock and roll.
Heck of a choice of words there, CT Betts. And we are ready to rock and roll. Find some winners here. A girl that's been hot, really. I mean, in terms of finding winners. Hey, some more winners than losers anyway. At Kelly in Vegas on Twitter. Kelly Stewart, welcome in, Kelly.
Hey, thanks, Drew. I just cashed my best bet for the show, and that was it. We were going to be late. I had to lay 5 bills, but won an easy $100, so that's nice. Just giving out more winners. Can always count on the hustle, starting at least 3 minutes late every single week. I know Val Thurston texts me always. It's never my fault, though. She knows that, and that's the beauty of it. We're always on the girl team, and we're going to have a good time. But, yeah, I had a really good college football Saturday, not such a good Sunday. I think every single one of us had a bad Sunday. I guess maybe I could be wrong, but it was ugly. I'm just glad I only played 2 games because I would have went 1-4 had I played all 5.
Yeah, unfortunately, the Dolphins couldn't score touchdowns, just kick field goals and drop that one by 1 point. But hey, it is what it is. Adam Trigger up next at Top Flight SI. Welcome in, Adam.
What's going on, Drew? It literally is Kelly's fault
Adam,
that we're late.
And Joe Ranieri. Why are you such a rookie? You're such a rookie. Click enter and come back to us. Let's go to Joe Ranieri because we got blurry Adam. Drew, can you please send it to Joe while Adam fixes himself?
Joe Ranieri, the man of many talents, along with us for the whole show. Couldn't be happier to have him. Joe, welcome in, buddy.
It is a pleasure to be here. I'm hoping the microphone works this time, and I'm guessing it is because you guys can hear me, so that is good. Pleasure to be here,
we
Drew.
could hear you last time, true.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a
Joe,
good point.
But nobody else could. So when Uncle Ben comes roaring through this office door and tells me it doesn't work, I'll let you know. But hopefully he comes roaring through and gives us a best bet instead.
Love it. We're in, Drew.
Yeah, I think we're good to go, Joe. And Trig, last time before we get to best bets, and in fact, I'm going to throw it over to you. Your intro and where you going for, not your best bet, but your big game breakdown, man.
Well, before I had to get off for God knows what reason, I don't know. It looks fine. It looks a little pixelated, but Kel's the reason we're late for this show because they do bet on it right before this. So it literally is Kel and Joe's fault.
First of all, bet on it got done at 4:15 Eastern, 1:15 Pacific today. We filmed it early because Ariel Epstein is flying here to visit me, so we had to start an hour earlier. But anyway, go ahead. Blame it on me.
Big Thursday night showdown for you guys, actually. But okay, let's start with the NFL then, because this kind of ties in a little bit. I'm not a huge teaser player, but I think the Houston Texans is my favorite teaser leg of the whole season. I actually like them against the number 2, but it moved here. Let me just tell you why it's my favorite teaser leg of the whole year. First, it moved off 3. It was a sharp move down to 2, went to 1. I think it's back to 2, which means if you bet a teaser now into the Texans, which is at 4:00 on Sunday, you basically get 8.5, which is probably as good of a sort of teaser, long teaser leg that you're going to find. And there's other stuff, maybe if you can find Bucks plus 1.5 to use into that game. Second, I'm just not a believer in the Titans. I can't believe they've won 4 straight. A couple of those wins are completely fraudulent wins, in my opinion. They deserve to lose to the Commanders. Somehow got out of there on a 1st and goal and got out with a win. Bunch of turnovers that went their way against the Colts twice. And the other win in that stretch, I believe, was the Raiders, where the Raiders had a 2-point conversion to potentially tie the game that they missed. It doesn't matter to me if it's Tannehill or Malik Willis. I'd actually prefer Tannehill because I just don't think he's very good. And I think the reason that this is creeping back up might be because he may play, and he's probably going to be playing hurt. And the Titans have had other injuries as well. The Texans, I mean, listen, they're not a great team, but at home, I'm willing to take a chance with them. They could have beat the Broncos. They should have beat the Colts week 1, and they really should have beat the Bears in a game that went against them late. So I'd be willing to take a chance with the Texans, but I really like it if you can get it up between the two key numbers and get Texans up to like 8 or 8.5. I think it's my favorite teaser leg of the NFL season.
Little teaser action for you. Somebody that knows teasers, Kelly Stewart. What do you think of that little NFL teaser, Kelly? And do you have a big game breakdown?
I'm sure. What could possibly go wrong in that teaser situation? I mean, give me a break. The teasers have been getting obliterated all year long, and Trig wants to come on and open the show up with teasers. Obliterated, including the Colts on Sunday. The Colts had multiple opportunities to win that game. The Broncos just absolutely, at least they covered their teaser leg. I don't want to talk about it. Let's talk about weddings or something. Why are we talking about teasers?
How about your big game breakdown? Why don't we do that?
I don't even have one. I'm not going to lie to you. I just did bet on it earlier. It was like pulling teeth trying to find an NFL best bet. I hate my NFL best bet. I hate the NFL this week. I love lots of little dogs in college football, so much so that when we just did bet on it, me, Marco, and Joe agreed on 4 of them. So I'm going to do a little 4-team moneyline parlay for fun with those. But I'll give you guys Marco's best bet on the show, and was going to be my best bet. But he beat me to it in the Slack channel and on WagerTalk. Whenever you do timestamps, whoever I guess gets there first gets to give out their bet. So Kentucky plus 12.5. This is just a classic look-ahead spot here for the Vols. I am shocked to see double digits, just absolutely floored. I would have believed in 8.5. I would have believed in 9, but 12.5 points for the second best defense in the SEC. I've been on Kentucky a lot over the past 2 seasons, you guys. I really like Will Levis and everything he's been able to do with this offense, but that defense is going to be able to finally shut down Tennessee's high-powered offense. I think they're going to control the tempo and the time of possession. 11-2 against the spread as touchdown dogs or more, so I couldn't resist hoping that the Vols have their binoculars out and are looking at the Georgia Bulldogs next week.
I like that one, Kelly. I was thinking about putting that one out, maybe save it for later in the show. I didn't know Kentucky was number 2 defense in the SEC, by the way. Good stat there. And, of course, Mark Stoops coaching them up on the defensive side. I'm going to keep it in the SEC for my big game breakdown, guys, and go to the world's largest outdoor cocktail party. Georgia Bulldogs and Florida Gators, 22.5 points. That's too many. Gators off of a bye. Billy Napier, he was good in the Sun Belt off of a bye. We'll see if he can keep that going in the SEC. And underdogs covered 10 straight games in Florida games here. Plus the fact, I think, Anthony Richardson, with extra time to prepare, the running ability that he has, we have seen a couple quarterbacks, do decently against this Georgia defense overall. I think could have a little bit of success here. Hey, he's just got to keep it within 3 touchdowns. What about the Gators plus the points? CTBet16 on Twitter, Chris Thurston. You got a big game breakdown, man?
Yeah, Drew Martin Betts. Kelly and I went to that game last year, and we were on the Gators last year. Started off pretty decent because the game started off really slow. Ended up to be a nightmare. I am with you, though. That is not my big game breakdown. I do like the Gators as well. So best of luck to you there. I'm heading to the Big 12. We're going to Ames, Iowa, at noon on Saturday when the 4-3 Oklahoma Sooners take on the 3-4 Iowa State Cyclones. Not really the ideal start for first-year coach Brent Venables after OU boosters dump a pile of money in Venables' driveway. They might be rethinking that one after the start OU has had. The defense has been absolutely horrendous. They've given up 41, 55, 49, and 42 in their 4 Big 12 games this season. One would have thought, the Venables, the defensive mind, would have been able to flip the switch here and make OU's D a little bit better than that. Hasn't been the case. Both these teams coming off byes, and Iowa State's coming off probably their best game of the year, losing at Texas by 3. And it was a late questionable non-call there that cost the Cyclones the game and forced a fumble. Iowa State played a complete game there, and they deserved to win that game. We got the cover there, but this OUD should be taking notes from the Cyclones D because they've been solid all year long here. They've only given up 289 yards per game. Matt Campbell, he lost a lot from last year's team. His team is scrappy. They haven't won a game yet in the Big 12. I expect that to change this weekend in Ames. Play on Iowa State plus 1.5. They will grind out their first Big 12 win of the year in a sleepy noon kick on Saturday.
Matt Campbell bounce back form like it's CT bets. Joe Ranieri. Joe, do you have a big game breakdown here?
I do. I'm just a little bit shocked here that CT didn't go Baylor here, given the fact they're 19-1 against the number as a conference dog. But we won't go there, CT. We'll give you an opportunity to be able to come back with the Baylor Bears. But I'm going to go to the SEC, Drew, and I am going to go with the guy that I faded last week with South Carolina taking down Jimbo and A&M, and I think it's an absolute buy low spot right now with A&M at home as a dog against an Ole Miss team that played a real defense in the second half, Drew, last week, didn't they? And how'd that work out? Yeah. You sucked, okay? That's how it worked out. It was not good on any level. You got embarrassed in the second half, Ole Miss and Lane Kiffin. This is an even better defense that you're going to be facing in Texas A&M. Jimbo and a crazy 14-3 straight up at home off consecutive losses. I just think we can get A&M as a dog at home against what we're about to figure out, Drew, is probably not a really good Ole Miss and Lane Kiffin squad here. So I'm going A&M.
All right, looking towards the Aggies. Good matchup there in the SEC West. Guys, we got a special segment here before we get to the best bets. It's pretty much kind of focused around weddings in the fall on a college football Saturday, NFL Sunday, like just the weekends around the fall, if it's kind of okay to have your wedding on those weekends. So just wanted to open it up here to a couple thoughts around the panel. Join us in the WagerTalk YouTube channel. Let us know your thoughts. I don't know. What are we thinking here, Trig? Do we think it's okay to have your wedding in a fall weekend?
Well, Drew, this is targeted at me, so I'll lead it off since my wedding will probably be in October. And here's my thought on it, Drew. Normally, I'd say no way, but if you're me and you're basically getting married at a sports book and there's ample televisions and you have like pods rented out for Sunday NFL football, then I think it's fine. I'll leave it at that. I don't know. Kel said she was going to destroy me on this topic, and I see her waiting back there to do so, but the only reason that you could possibly say that is if it disrupts football, and mine isn't going to disrupt football, so I don't know what the argument is.
Yeah, but it might disrupt my employer's schedule. There may be a massive football game that weekend that I have to be at. There's a lot of moving parts here during football season, Trig. And as CT knows, I have a lot of flights booked at any given point in time, except for that
18.
one to Dallas that I can go ahead and cancel because K-State's not going to the Big 12 championship game. That's the big game I wanted Joe Ranieri to break down because I wore my Cats by 90 shirt that you can't see because it has purple letters and the screen is screwing it up. But listen, I've never been to a wedding during football season. I have never planned to go. I've never wanted to go. I'm never going to go. And then I find out that I have to go to one this year. And I wrote it down. I said, I'll let you know if I can get it off work and if I can make it a work trip and make it worthwhile to myself. There's going to be some pseudo-famous athletes there and some famous people that I like to see, but my best friend's also going, so it's an excuse to see her as well. So I'm making a concession because it's the week before Thanksgiving, and I don't have to travel during Thanksgiving week. Now, I also found out today that Brett's brother is getting married during next football season, and it's at the very least, it's on a Friday. But guess who has to work on Fridays? This bitch. So I don't know how I'm going to pull it off. I don't know how I'm going to do it because I can't just take a Friday off during football season. So I'm sure I'm going to show up, stand in the back of the church, pretend like I've been there the whole time, and then get pissed drunk at the reception. I mean, I don't know what you guys want me to tell you. Like, this is what May, June, and July are for. Why is there a wedding during football season? You have the rest of the year. Trig, put it in February or something. I don't know. I at least go to that. College basketball is a little bit different. I think this is where it just doesn't make sense unless, of course, you are like I don't know. Like there's got to be some reason why you wouldn't want to have a summer wedding. And I can't think of one because that's when you should have the fucking weddings. Summertime. That's what summer's for.
I don't know.
It's called baseball season.
Listen, Central New York, the fall is like the best time of the year. Summer, not as good.
Yeah,
You're
I
certainly
just
not going to
love
have
going
it
to
in
New York
February.
so much. I can't wait to go to New York on a busy football season in either September or October to check out the
Won't be
fucking
September.
foliage. Okay,
Won't be
well, as long as it's
September.
not September, then it's just a completely different scenario.
That's right, because Major League Baseball regular season is done. I don't handicap NBA or NHL, so those sports don't matter to me. So October actually kind of works out a little bit.
So you're going to tell your bride that, hey, listen, I'm going to have so many TVs at this wedding. I'm going to have all these people invited. Let me tell you what happened last time. I went to a wedding that was in May, but it was during a major fight weekend. Me and every single one of the groomsmen were in the sports book at the Atlantis watching the Floyd Mayweather fight when we were supposed to be at the reception. And she got so pissed at us and I go, well, you shouldn't have had a wedding during fight week. That's not my problem. Like, this is not my problem. And it also cost me thousands of dollars because fight weekends in Las Vegas are some of the best money makers of the year. So, yeah, I wasn't happy about that one either. So, no, coming to a wedding in upstate New York, which is not easy to get to ever, on a Friday, where I'm going to have
Chris,
to work remote.
I don't live in Antarctica. We have an airport.
A little bit. Drew, I'll jump in a little bit here. And as we all know, I don't defend Trig too much, ever. I usually disagree with him.
That's also because you had a football season wedding. So, of course, you'd sound like a hypocrite if you didn't defend him. And what did I tell you as to why I couldn't come to your wedding?
I can never fucking talk on this show. I can never fucking talk. It's fucking insane. I'm not talking anymore. She interrupts everyone. Done.
It's the brother and sister.
That's the last time I talk.
All right, CT, hold on. We're going to take a break. Like, let me give my thoughts on it. I feel like a fall wedding. I've been to a couple, and it's one of those where like you can't plan it. It's like, oh, Auburn doesn't play this weekend, so we can have it this. Well, look at the college football schedule. Like, there's another big game there, whatever weekend you choose. So it is kind of tough, Trig. But at the same time, I feel like it's cool as long as the bride and the groom and whoever else is paying for it that might be kind of pushed back by it. Like, if you're watching the game on your little device now, like, technology's helped us. Like, that's fine with me. If I'm sweating out a bet and at your open bar wedding, like, I'm cool with that. So it doesn't really bother me too much. What I'm worried about, Trig, is like, how tough is this going to be to get there? Like, is this like multiple planes on a Friday? Because, like Kelly's getting at, like, a work schedule during the football season for like Joe or me or is a lot. So if it's like a Friday wedding and it's 2 flights, like that would get me a little bit more than the actual, like, which weekend it is.
Yeah, I mean, here's what I envision. Like, the actual wedding itself, probably Saturday night. So all the early football, and it's literally, Drew, it is literally at a sports book. I mean, the sports book is in the next room. It's if you've never been to Turning Stone, phenomenal place.
Okay.
So, it's really, we're talking like the night Saturday games, and this place is equipped with a clubhouse and a bar. So with TVs, and there's just plenty of, it will not be an issue. I mean, Kel went to a Morgan Wallen concert. I don't think they had the game on there last time I checked.
You want to know why I went to a Morgan Wallen concert? Because I wanted to be there. That's why I went to a Morgan Wallen concert, because that's what I wanted to do. Actually, I don't want to go to a football season wedding. I only do. That's the beauty of getting to work for yourself, essentially. You get to do whatever you want. I'm going to go see CT in Boston in a week and a half because that's what I want to do. I don't want to go to a football season wedding, and that's the bottom line.
Fair enough.
I guess the
show
goes on
in July. I will come up there for a week, and I will even contribute to the open bar. I will give you a beautiful wedding gift. Just get married in any other month besides September, October, November, or December, and I will give you a gorgeous wedding gift.
CT, Joe, you guys.
I really need to hear what CT has to say, because I think he was about to defend him, and I don't think we've ever had that on record, CT. So please, by all means, please defend him
myself.
Here. I want to hear CT.
All I was going to say is I don't defend Trig too much. Everybody knows I think he's an idiot, and I cringe when he speaks for more than a minute. This one I don't have a problem with. He's doing it the right way. I told him to do it on a Friday. We will not be missing any games. I think it's really cool. He's going to have fucking TVs everywhere. I think it will be awesome. I think me, Joe, Drew, him, Trig, if he's available, we'll do a couple shows while we're there from the sports book. We can make it work. It will be awesome to be together. I don't get to see Joe and Drew much at all, so this will be a nice way to see them, have some Vivas, smash some games together. Saturday at the sports book, Sunday at the sports book, and it will be a nice little reason to get together and have a good time. I don't have a problem with it. That's all I wanted to say.
Fair enough, guys. We got best bets coming up. Joe, any quick
would you
thoughts?
like my final answer?
Yeah,
we all know I'm going to be there. I might be pissed off about being there, but I'm going to be there. Or you think I'm happy about going to the week before Thanksgiving? You think that's exciting for me? You think I'll enjoy having to spend $400 on a dress, and then I got to go to spray tan, and then I got to fly across the fucking country to like show up and smile at some place and shake hands and be nice to people while there's games on? No, it's not something I want to do. I still don't want to go to your wedding, but I'm going to go.
I have one question, if I could, Drew, just for a second here. Trig, when this wedding was being planned, right? And when you sat down and was like, all right, here's a calendar. When are we going to do this? Was the October wedding your idea, or was it the bride-to-be's idea?
Hers, but I didn't go against it because I'll tell you, Joe, the best time,
you don't
the
go
best
against
month of the
anything
year,
she ever says.
the best month of the year, to be in upstate New York is October. It's not even close.
Not wrong. So basically, she was like, "Hey, let's get married in October," and you were like, "Yes, dear, whatever, that works. I'm good to go with that, right? No pushback whatsoever."
I said, yeah, that works for me. Okay. September would be
The
tough.
rest
October's
of Trig's
fine.
life is going to have to be yes, dear. That's his new life. That's just what he signed up for. So here we are.
Trig, this is all good. We're all going to go here, but you have to promise us the next wedding when you get married. You've got to have I'm just saying, you've got to have a little more input. That's all I'm going to say. We'll leave it at that, Drew.
There won't be a next one. It's just one crack at it.
The next one.
Crack at it.
Promise us. That's all. That's all I'm going to say.
So I got married on a Friday three years ago. It was like week 2 or week 3 of college football. And Friday night, it was like those shitty games like Syracuse, UConn, whatever, like 2 or 3 games, no NFL. It was a great time. And then Saturday, the next day, I rented out a sports bar for all my close friends and wedding party that wanted to stay. And then the next day, Sunday, I told Amanda, I was like, all right, you go back to the condo. Uncle Benny, myself, and my brother, Steve, we're going out to the sports bar because it's NFL Sunday. So it turned out to be a pretty good weekend. We didn't miss any football, and it ended up being my best weekend of the year for football-wise gambling. So ended up being pretty profitable, and everybody had a good time. So it could be fun.
Kelly, any final thoughts before we move on?
No, but I will say this. I would have been at CT's wedding, but at the time I owned half of the proxy service. And literally we didn't have any other employees at the time. Nope. And it would have just been impossible to go. Also, CT and I knew each other then, but we're like, best friends now. That's why he can scream at me like he just did, even though that was really mean. And I was waiting for Val to text me and be like, I'm so sorry for my son's behavior, but I haven't gotten one of those yet.
It's coming.
That was like a quick, like, if you want to know what it was like when West Virginia beat Baylor, that was like a quick clip of it, probably, right?
Yeah. I don't know why he stopped filming himself screaming at the TV. I think it's great for content purposes.
Yeah, that's a Chris.
Maybe we just do that. Maybe that's what I'll do. I'll put in a hidden camera in CT Sportsbook. Like, I'll hide it somewhere, and then I'll just hit record manually, like, every Saturday. And then I'll make a compilation throughout the next football weeks that are left of CT just losing his shit in CT Sportsbook by himself. I think it'd be amazing content.
I apologize.
And then he finds the camera and breaks it.
I apologize for losing my mind. I've been a little on edge these last couple of days. My best bet Sunday was the Dolphins, and they couldn't get past the 30-yard line. And then on Sunday, I had, you don't even want to know how much to close out a lot of teasers on the Patriots -1 and trashed my whole house. So I apologize for just screaming. It's been a shitty start to the week.
You had a
All
good Saturday,
CT
though.
bets. Yeah.
Saturday was phenomenal. Yes, best of the year so far.
Gave
But
some
we're
of
on
it
to
back
a new
on
week.
Sunday. It happens, CT bets.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like anybody here like mushed you and took the Bears anyway, CT. I mean, we were all on the same page.
Right. Good point, Joe.
Thank you.
Great point.
Okay.
Yeah, Ariel, Survivor Pats, me, Pats teasers,
Yeah,
CT
absolutely.
Pats
Bears.
teasers. Yeah, great stuff. Thanks,
Good
Trig.
stuff. Yeah. Way to go, Trig.
All right, guys. Well, we got best bets coming up right now. Huge shout out to the chat box. Everybody joining us live. Some positive, some negative comments here towards the wedding, but like everybody chiming in either way. K Slater
Read
in the
some
house.
funny
Mark
ones,
Zeno
Drew.
as well.
I want to hear
You pay-
two funny comments. Find me two funny ones.
Well, Mark Zeno's saying you pay a massive premium for weddings in spring and summer. November is cheap as hell. So that's one reason to maybe go during fall. Mark Zeno being a voice of wisdom here. We got, there's a
How
bunch
many
of
times
them.
has Zeno been married?
Yeah. That was a good question.
How does he know this?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Sounds like
I don't
somebody
know.
who has shopped around a few times. Yes. Just saying.
Always shop
I
around.
proposed a destination
shop
wedding.
around.
I said, listen, you have a destination wedding, then nobody you like dislike comes because they're not going to spend $2,000. Like I said, let's go to like somewhere for March Madness, like Aruba or the Bahamas or somewhere fun. You can just elope there, and it won't like cost you anything.
I'll throw that out there. We'll see if maybe we'll get that done. Yeah.
Robert saying major overreaction to the fall wedding. That's kind of funny. Aid saying
funny.
Joe for president. Not sure if Joe's
Joe for
interested in
president.
politics.
Yeah.
I second that.
Listen, I would have went Hawaii wedding, but that's me. I'm just saying. I don't know if Hawaii's
Ooh.
open in November. I'm fairly certain you wouldn't have got any blowback here from the panel if you would have said, you know what, guys, we're all hopping on a plane.
I would agree with that. If
Yeah,
you're like,
we're
hey,
going
we're
to
going to Maui. Yeah, it would cost me like 10 dimes to get there, but I would go.
Oh, yeah.
At least like the games would be over by the time the wedding starts.
Good point. Solid
Exactly.
point.
Knows when.
Yes, solid point.
That was a
there.
good point.
I think we need to reevaluate
Can't be any worse
this.
than March Madness at 7 o'clock in the freaking morning, hungover in Vegas.
That is a good
Right.
point as well.
Exactly.
We will never do March Madness again
Yes.
in Vegas. Ever.
I'm not gonna lie, March Madness, NFL playoffs. There are several times that I do not want to be in a sportsbook in Las Vegas. Those are the two,
Yeah.
and it's both been with
Those-
CT.
I agree with both of those. Yes. Absolute debacle.
We do have, I think the comment you were looking for here, Kelly, Joe Cool saying the wedding chatter reminds me of watching the Iowa offense.
Ooh.
Boom, boom. That was a
That's
good
the
one,
best
Joe Cool.
one.
Just to
Yeah,
Wow.
I like
Just
that
brutal.
one. But we do have best bets coming up, guys. And also Mark Zeno finishing it off here. He was married once. He got married in November, divorced in the spring. Both were very, very expensive.
Good point.
I don't know.
I love Zeno. He's coming up to visit at my house in a few weeks. Trig's coming down, and we're gonna smash Vivas and games all weekend. So it
Boom.
should be a good
I
time.
love that.
Oh yeah, Zeno, a good guy. Served the country well, and he's great to watch sports betting content as well, guys. We got best bets. I know we're up against it. Do want to clarify one thing here, guys, as we're brought to you by Viva Tequila Seltzer, WagerTalk.com. In Big Game Breakdown, I was breaking down the world's largest outdoor cocktail party because Kelly was talking about Kelly, Tennessee right before me. I wanted to keep it going, and I think I misspoke and just said there was a couple quarterbacks that had good showings against the Georgia defense. Actually, there isn't. I made a mistake there. The reason I'm betting Richardson is because I actually thought he looked pretty good against the Tennessee defense. I know Florida lost, but they slipped through the back door. He put up a bunch of yards. Florida scored a bunch of points. So hopefully that they could put it in the end zone a couple times against Georgia. Plus the fact they're off of a bye. I think it will be actually low scoring. I think it kind of correlates with under Georgia Florida game with Florida plus the points. So that was my big game breakdown. Segueing here to best bets. I like Kentucky plus the points as well. Plus 12.5 looks to be the high watermark. There is one plus 13 out there. And a couple reasons why is Stoops. Defensive wise, to Kelly's point, really good defense overall. They're 3-0 against the spread as a dog, and they just held Mississippi State's offense to 225 yards. Sometimes I think how good a defense is rides under the radar. Always tough to step in front of Tennessee. It's not one of the biggest bets I've ever made here, but Kentucky plus the points and a look ahead here for the Volunteers. They have Georgia on deck. So that's my best bet. Kentucky plus 12.5. Going around the horn here at Kelly in Vegas on Twitter. Kelly Stewart, find her at Barstool Sportsbook right here on The Hustle. She's got Bet on It on the Wager Talk YouTube channel. Kelly, final thoughts for the show. And if you got a best bet, throw it out.
Yeah, my best bet, I gave it out on Bet on It. West Virginia plus 7.5. Actually, Drew, I do like the Florida angle. I think it is too many points, but I don't think Georgia is looking ahead to Tennessee, even though they are highly touted. I think just not what Georgia does necessarily, maybe to Alabama, but not to Tennessee. But I do think that is too many points. Florida should be able to put up more points than they did last year. But I'm basically betting against TCU here. Now, I looked at West Virginia last week, and Marco D'Angelo talked me off of it and said, Kelly, this is not the Mountaineers team that you want to take on the road. And if you look at their home road splits, this team is vastly different. Mountaineers really, how do I put this nicely? I don't want to hurt CT's feelings. They got very lucky against his Baylor team because their starting quarterback got knocked out. But the nice thing about West Virginia is their offense can share scores. And JT Daniels, while he probably wouldn't still be the starter in Georgia, and that's why he transferred to West Virginia, is still a very serviceable quarterback. I'm not trying to disregard what we've seen TCU do this year by going 7-0, but they've been so lucky. I think that we're going to see an off week, if you will. They played 4 straight ranked opponents. Yes, Oklahoma was ranked when they played them. Yes, KU was ranked. Obviously, Oklahoma State was ranked, and they came roaring back in the second half, 28-10. As I'm walking into Morgan Wallen, Will Howard gets hurt, and that was basically all she wrote for Kansas State. I just think this getting over a touchdown here in Morgantown with a team who's cashed 6 straight tickets versus the Horned Frogs, I think we see 7 here. I think West Virginia winning outright is going to be tough. I'm going to need to see some defense from them, but I definitely think they're still worth a sprinkle.
Great breakdown there, Kelly. All right, towards the dog. West Virginia plus 7 in the hook across the board, guys. So, yeah, should be able to find that hook on the 7 because it's available everywhere on the Wager Talk Live odds screen. CT Bet 16, Chris Thurston. Final thoughts for the show, bud, and best bet.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you and Kel at all on Kentucky. I think that's way too many points as well. If you guys tailed my best college football season total win at the beginning of the season, that was Tennessee over 7.5. So I am just hoping to, they're 7-0 right now, hoping to get the win, get out of there and have a chance versus Georgia. And looks like we'll have no problem covering that over 7.5 for the Vols this year. But best bet, I tweeted it out this morning because I thought this number was going to move. And I was right. It did. So we're heading to Thursday Night Football, Ravens at Bucks. Kelly, Uncle Benny, Brett, the Queen, they'll all be at the game. Drew, it's been a pretty wild and unexpected NFL season thus far. Kelly sent the group a text message this AM, and I thought it was pretty wild because I started thinking about it while I was driving, and it's kind of insane. So this week, coming up in week 8, this weekend, with winning games with winning records, there's only one this Sunday, and go figure, it's the Giants versus the Seahawks. Who would have thought that? So it's been pretty crazy here, and the 2 teams that are playing on Thursday, yeah, they've underperformed to say the least. Ravens 4-3, while Tom Brady and company, the sky is falling again for Brady. They are 3-4. Luckily for the GOAT and the Bucks, the NFC is a complete dumpster fire. And if the playoffs started today, they'd somehow be the 4 seed. 2 weeks ago on this show, I gave out the Giants over the Ravens as my best bet. And what I expected happened. The Ravens blew the game in the fourth quarter, and they are lacking the usual weapons they usually have. And not to say that Brady was lacking some weapons last Sunday as well, as they got blown out by the Panthers. But this is the first time that Tom Brady has been an underdog in 28 regular season games at Tampa Bay, and I absolutely love this spot for him this Thursday night, coming in as a home puppy after getting blown out on the road at the terrible Panthers. The Bucs will make some adjustments this week. The wideouts will be better in primetime Thursday night. This is the spot I love the most. backing the home team, playing horrendous at home with the goat pulling the trigger. All the bets coming in on the Ravens. We saw the reverse line movement already. I'm seeing some spots have Bucks minus 1.5 now. I tweeted out Bucks 9 in the morning plus 1.5. The Ravens blown leads all year long. They can't close. This is going to be a different Tampa team on Thursday night. And I like the Bucks to win, Drew Martin bets pretty comfortably. Play on the Bucks. I gave it out plus 1.5 this morning, and you all followed me. So plus 1.5 is my best bet.
Oh, okay. All right. Tampa Bay. Adam Trigger at Top Flight SI. Trig, what do you got?
Hate to say it. CT's going to agree with this one. Hate to say it, but Notre Dame is the right side this weekend, ladies and gentlemen. Plus 2.5 at Syracuse. As of right now, I'm going. I have tickets, but I don't know if I'll I may sell them. But anyway, this is a stat from last week's game. Garrett Schrader, Syracuse quarterback, carried the ball 21 times. And I was at this game, and I can assure you that they were not like him running out of bounds or him sliding. He was essentially carrying the ball for Syracuse because Sean Tucker had 5 carries in the game. Fan that I think is a parent of a player said that he was banged up, that he was really kind of being used as a decoy in that game. And it makes sense because Syracuse had an 11-point lead, and they weren't going to Tucker, who's their best running back. 5 carries. I think he had 5 receptions. Barely played and didn't play all that much in the second half, which means Garrett Schrader took an absolute beating in that game. Notre Dame is a huge New York fan base. They really are like the eastern part of New York's team. Syracuse is really more of a central New York, western New York fan base. Everyone else likes Notre Dame. So they'll probably have a bunch of fans in attendance at the Dome. And you look at Notre Dame, the games that they've messed up this year, Marshall, Cal, Stanford, all huge favorites. They beat Cal, but didn't get the money. Even last week with UNLV, didn't cover that number. The games that they really showed up for, Ohio State, they were in that game all the way. BYU, they beat them. North Carolina, they beat them. It's a really tough spot for Syracuse coming off of the performance last week. I think they're a bit more banged up than they're probably letting on. So you're going to get 2.5. I'll root for Syracuse to win by 1 or 2. But if you're going to get 2 at the wrong teams, this is a much better spot for Notre Dame than it is for Syracuse. And Syracuse may be a tad overrated, even though they've played extremely well so far this year. So I know CT Betts texted me about it earlier. I agreed with them. I like Notre Dame plus the points.
All right. Plus 2.5 available pretty much across the board right now. Looking at the WagerTalk live odds screen, we got Joe Ranieri here. Joe, what do you got for best bets? Any final thoughts for the show?
Well, I mean, Kel is actually wearing the shirt, so I will address it. As an OSU alum, she's got the Cats on there. And I did take Kansas State in this game, but I took them in the first half, Drew, simply because Kansas State, 6 games on the year, you know how many they have trailed heading into the break? Ungats. Yes, that's 0. They have the lead every time heading into the second half. Oklahoma State, we've seen them a whole lot of having to come back in the second half of some games. They tend to start a little bit slower, especially on the road in this spot. Don't know the health of Martinez or what he's going to go, but if Howard's going behind him, we saw what he is capable of doing when he came in relief before he got hurt. Either way, I still like K-State to get it done early and go into the break with a lead. It's a money line price. I mean, it's pretty much a pick 'em at this point here, Drew. So K-State to be leading at the half. I'll take them on the money line.
I like it, Joe. Yeah, thanks for clarifying that. The spread is minus a half, and money line, guys, K-State first half minus 120. So, yeah, good stuff, Joe. We heard from Adam Trigger. He's got Notre Dame plus 2.5. CT, just clarification. Tampa Bay is minus 1 or minus 1.5. Did you want to do the money line or minus 1?
Yeah, that's fine, Drew. I tweeted out 9 in the morning, plus 1.5 for the sake of the show. I'll give out minus 1.
Okay, minus 1 for Tampa Bay.
When did all that money come in on Tampa? Like it had to be this afternoon, right?
Joe, it was
like the last 2 hours that before
it was
we started
while we
doing
were filming bet on it.
Wow.
Because Marco gave out Tampa in a teaser.
As
I
a
said, Marco,
teaser.
it's 1.5. And
That's
so I made
crazy.
him give me another leg because it was literally +1 because I always have the WagerTalk odds screen open. And I did something else. I clicked over and I was like, oh, well, sorry, Marco. By the time this goes, here we are. So I did see CT's tweet. I do agree with him on Tampa. I just don't know if I have the guts to do it. I may wait until halftime and then bet Tampa. Half.
Baltimore will figure out a way to blow it. Absolutely.
That's just what they do.
Yep.
Especially with Ariel in attendance. If Ariel wasn't coming to this game, I would absolutely be like, yeah, maybe I won't get involved. But because we have to go, I guarantee they're going to blow it just for her in person.
That's correct.
KIV on West Virginia +7.5. CT's bet is Tampa Bay -1. Thanks for clarifying that, CT Bets. No stale lines on the show. Follow him on Twitter at CTBets16 to get those live updates when he's putting it in. And I am on Kentucky +12.5 as the big underdog. For Joe Ranieri, Adam Trigger, CT Bets. Kelly Stewart, I am Drew Martin. We are brought to you by Viva Tequila Seltzer. Guys, check it out, vivatequilaseltzer.com. Available in 4 deliciously drinkable flavors, including elderberry, huckleberry, watermelon, and grapefruit. Each flavor complemented by a light tequila taste and a touch of carbonation. 4.5% ABV. Best served cold on ice. Check out the WagerTalk live odds screen, guys. When we're talking about sides, totals, where these numbers are moving, that's the best place to do it. The best free live odds in the industry. WagerTalk.com, live odds tab. All right, guys, that does it for the show. Cash those tickets. Smash that like button. Feel free to comment below. We'll be back next Wednesday, 6 p.m. Eastern time. That does it for the hustle.